So I'll be speaking about what I learned in Kabbalah. It's going back a few years from the teacher Eitan Yardeni at the Kabbalah Center. So humility is that there's a time to follow and a time to lead, because even when we lead, we're actually serving the people. When we follow, we let someone else choose, right? Each one of us is a candle to the world. And, you know, when we look at where we're working on leadership, for example, where it comes to being the light, in my life it would be, let's say, work and intimate relationships. And it still is a few years later, because these are the residues of correction I'm working with. And so the world needs me in a lifeboat because, one, I'm a testament that we can return to God, love, happiness, peace. And two, I'm able to see deeply into what people have in their hearts, what's needed, and minds when they're in that need, which could make them feel insecure and ashamed. So not shaming the need by doing this to myself, right? So, and then three, I'm able to rebuild this world with love, even in moments of terror, pain, overwhelm, fear, grief, anger. Four, I'm practicing gratitude and freedom, which inspires and guides others who forgot or forget, will forget, right? Number five, I'm thoughtful, sensitive, generous, caring, humble, sweet, uplifting, wise, honest, and genuine. I want to repeat that. I'm thoughtful, sensitive, generous, caring. It's so comforting. It makes me feel like a nap. Humble, sweet, uplifting, wise, honest, and genuine. 6, I finally started seeing myself and understanding myself, and I'm ready to begin actually live the precious life I've been given. 7, I dedicate my time to helping, empowering, uniting, understanding my Creator so no one's left behind or forsaken. And now we have to remember the world of craftsmen on the tabernacle was the work that they did back in the day. The world met them. The world, we would say, the intention to the manifestation was divinely assisted partnership with God, because it was finished on its own. We put ourselves into it and it meets us. So, you know, we think about Moses, right? Most of us think, well, I can't relate to a lot of what happened, but you could relate. He put maximum effort and discipline into everything he did. It was a personal relationship with the moments, with experience. It's a spirit inside of the physical energy, right? Because you're fully invested, you're fully present. He reflected every evening how to do better. He implemented it the next day. He was fully present, perfectly imperfect, being a humble vessel. We could relate to that being how we should be, right? And he knew he couldn't finish the job, right? And it was up to God. And he knew his role was just facilitating. For example, when the sperm and the egg come together, and it doesn't mean it's going to be fertilized to life. It just leaving it up, right? So the leader supports. Remember I said earlier, the leader is like serving the people with support. Inspiration. Guides the people, so guidance, help showing the people, so demonstrates, models, communicates with the people, right? So we surrender it all to God. Once we do what we can, what's appropriate for ourselves, then we can start to do that for others. It's not about taking our credit or blame or being attached to the outcome. It's doing it all for the sake of the greater good. And we could just practice on a daily basis, actively surrendering results and consciously. I am perfectly imperfect. I had a talk with my friend. I actually spoke with him tonight. And then I see that, I didn't take notes in our conversation tonight, but I took some notes on a previous conversation I had with him, which was really interesting. So I wanted to share it. He says, tzaddik, righteous, upright, is walking with God 100% will. It's choosing to be a peacekeeper versus a peace bringer. It's passive and active, and God has to do what he has to do, and we could fight it, but no way out except through. We can't avoid, we can't ignore. And man will rule over his wife, and his wife will desire her husband. That's what Rabbi Nachman says. And it's an agreement to be faithful, to treat each other properly. She's allowing him to nurture her, protect, and care for her. And all his blessings and parnasa and his life force come from her. He learns who he is from her. Think about that. So life is fast, and mind and heart have to work together, and emotional processing of information can prevent one from seeing the essence of his power and how much, like for example, he can't see that as much as she can receive him is how much the essence of his power. So she, wanting her to receive him. So God made us to care for us. A lot of people are not ready for an identity, and some things are only meant to be told to one person, not everyone. Like, you don't have to tell everyone your identity or, these kinds of things. So the body-mind are both, the body-mind complex is designed to be fed constantly, spiritual and physical. The anomaly is not being normal, not the standard. It doesn't translate as a reference. So it's like, when we get back to these basics, that everything is nothing, yes is no, there's an abyss, something from nothing, and separation from heaven and earth is the thickness of a hair, because we're creators creating, and we get dependent on people helping us, feeling like there's someone we need to rely on instead of God. And healthy is getting out of the pain instead of letting it crush us. So, in other words, everything is orchestrated perfectly, and my friend even says how Jesus brought Mashiach concept to the whole world. And I want to finish with something that when I have to be my own best partner, best friend. I thought about when are the times where I feel like I need someone and they're not there. Crying, processing rejection or gaslighting, reeling from abandonment, invalidation, abuse. Someone is distracted, or idealizing unfaithfully, when I'm not feeling sexy, when I'm in mourning, when I have my period, when I relied on someone untrusted, like the person I relied on and I trusted was unworthy, but I did it because I was so lonely. So those are ways in which obviously I'm working on seeing, it's all about self-worth, right? Like I started with the Kabbalah, being the light, and then I spoke about how in a relationship it's all about the circuitry of the light, and then being our own. It's like there's a being the light is also includes a self circuitry and relational circuitry. Looking forward to tomorrow to another video on similar topics. Be well.